You might want to say Alfreda Gary.
Okay. Yeah.
Today's date is Saturday, March 8th, 2025. My name is Sebastian Garcia, and I'm interviewing Alfreda Gary, Kathy Sapp, and Ernest Sapp as part of research with the University of Central Florida's Ridges Project in cooperation with the City of Orlando's Parramore Speaks project. This interview is being conducted at the Callahan Neighborhood Center in Orlando, Florida, and Mrs. Sapp, Mr. Sapp, and Ms. Gary have agreed to allow this interview to be recorded. Can you start us off by each of you telling me your full names?
I'm Alfreda Gary.
And I am Kathy Sapp.
I am Ernest Sapp.
And how are y'all related?
That's my daughter, and I'm her mama.
And this is my dear husband, Ernest Sapp.
And this is my wife, Kathy.
And they just follow me in here.
Yeah, we followed our mama, Alfreda Gary.
Yeah, Woodruff was my real name.
Starting with Alfreda, can you tell me about your childhood and where you grew up?
About what?
Your childhood and where you grew up.
My houses,
Childhood.
Childhood.
Where you grew up.
my what?
Childhood.
My childhood.
Mhm.
And where you grew up.
I grew up on Carter Street in Orlando. And my dad, our backyard was to the project. And Daddy had to sell some of his property to the project so they could use what they did. And he was on Carter Street, 548 Carter Street.
When did your family first arrive to this area?
Well, my mom came to Jonestown. That's where she came in. She was raised in Jonestown. You know where Jonestown? And they had to walk all the way from Jonestown to this school here. And that was a long walk. A long, long walk. And that was back before I was born. And then
And your dad.
my dad, he came from Bartow, Florida. And that's how he met my mama, flirting with her. That's all he was doing. He was a little old man flirting with my mama. I just found that out. I just figured that out myself because of the ages. Yeah.
And what about you? Can you tell me about your childhood?
Yes. My mother is Miss Alfreda Gary, and my daddy is Mr. Wilbur Gary Sr. He's now the late Wilbur Gary Sr. And I grew up on Carter Street. Originally, I lived with my grandparents, Charles and Willie V. Woodruff on Carter Street. My mom and dad were married, and he wanted my mother to go to college. So he sent her to Florida A&M University. And at the time, I was 4 years old. So my grandmother, my grandfather, and my dad had me for 4 years, and I was on Carter Street. When I was a little girl, I used to walk from Carter Street to here, Callahan. It was Callahan Elementary School then. My mom went here, my dad went here, and through the years, it has left from Callahan.
Your grandma.
And my grandmother,
Yeah.
my grandmother that was a part of raising me, Willie V. Woodruff, all went to school here. And it has grown. It was Jones High School at one point, and then it was turned into Callahan Elementary School.
Yeah.
So, and then from there I went to Cherokee Junior High, Cherokee High, what was it, Cherokee Junior High back then, and then Memorial Junior High, which is the Orange County Public School System, drew the lines sometimes different every year. So black students were moved around from school to school in the Callahan area.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, and then finally I got a chance to go to Jones High School, which is a high school in the Parramore area. So, and then from there I went to Bethune-Cookman. It was Bethune-Cookman College then, it's Bethune-Cookman University now. And that's how my childhood went.
Yeah.
And what about you, Ernest? Talk to me about your childhood.
Oh, okay. My childhood was very admirable. I grew up in Carver Court. Well, we moved from, I believe it was Long Street to Carver Court when I was 10 years old. And so we moved there. I was with my grandfather and my mother, and it was probably 9 of us. My grandfather had us, and he really struggled with us there. But we moved to Carver Court, and there I stayed at Carver Court. I stayed at Carver Court till I graduated from high school. Graduated from high school, living in Carver Court. Got a pretty good job at this place called Coburn Build Supply, and while I was there, had to take care of my brothers and sisters, and the Lord blessed me with a scholarship to go play basketball at Sanford at Silver Junior College. And so I went there, and from there to Bethune-Cookman. But while in Carver Court in the projects as a kid, the difficult part was most of the kids there had no father. And what we had to rely on was our grandparents. And so my grandfather, Ernest Sapp Sr., made a very big difference in my life. My mother's name was Sapp, but my grandfather, he made a great impact on my life. And he taught me how to live as a man when I was 12 years old. When I was 12, I had to struggle and do this and do that. And I was left home when I was 12. You know, kind of live up under the highways and different places like that. And, you know, it was a very bad time for a 12-year-old to have to go through the struggles that we went through, me and my brothers and my sisters. And so today it's like me telling this story. It's kind of emotional for me because it was a very difficult time when by the 15th of the month you didn't have no food and you had to drink water, or you had to go through garbage cans to try to find food at restaurants, those kind of things like that. But yet and still, I survived all that through Holden Street Elementary School to Jones High School in 7th grade, 8th grade, to Cherokee in 9th grade, the integration of schools, to Boone in 10th grade, and then back to Jones 11th and 12th grade. And so, with that said, I am an alumni with Bethune-Cookman. I'm an alumni at Excelsior College in New York, and I'm a seminary graduate from Jacksonville Seminary. Charles Harrison Mason graduated from Charles Harrison Mason Seminary. And God has blessed me. I'm truly a blessed man. And so I have, all my brothers and sisters are deceased because that place kind of took them and put them in a different category. And on Parramore, and because it's so emotional, I really didn't want to talk about this, but my mother was killed on Parramore. She was caught in a place in a fire there on Parramore, those old places. And they turned that into a park there. And every time I pass by there, I have remembrance of that. As a matter of fact, I was never planning on moving back to Orlando because of that, and because of that place, you know. But I love this place. I love my family. I love Kathy and my mom, you know. And so it's been very good for me in my life. And I've traveled throughout country to countries, you know, in the military, retired military, and that kind of thing there. And so I've been a lot of places, know a lot of things, done a lot of things. Yeah. And so that's kind of like my little history there, you know. Yeah.
Circling back this way, that's how we're gonna do it. What did your parents do for a living?
My daddy had 2 dry cleaners, and my mom worked in the dry cleaning. She did the alteration and the sewing and checking in and out. One was right there on Terry and Church Street, and one was on, what's that?
Westmoreland.
Westmoreland.
300 Westmoreland.
Yeah, 300 Westmoreland.
And 210 Terry Avenue.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had to go from school, we didn't go home. We had to come down there. We didn't go home at all until they went home. We weren't letting them back to be home and they be somewhere else. No, they didn't take, cause they were hooked over behind good. My parents didn't play, especially my mom. And she was about taller than me, but now she was supposed to be good. She didn't play at all. And you did what she told you to do, and didn't play. Yeah, my dad never touched me at all. No, he didn't have to.
Tell him he did.
There wasn't nothing left when she got through.
Tell him he did the clothes for the
Oh,
band.
God.
Tell him to clean the clothes for Johnstown Band.
I did what?
Clean the clothes for Johnstown Band, your dad.
I did what?
My grandfather,
Yeah,
my mom's dad, had the two dry cleaning
Yeah.
companies.
yeah,
And he would clean clothes or clean the uniforms
yeah.
for Jones High School
Yeah.
band
Yeah, he
for
would.
them.
He
So-
would pay half price for them. Most sometimes he gave them to them free.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do you know the name of the dry cleaners?
yeah, we was the cleaner. And the other one was called West Side. The one on the west side was called West Side. Yeah.
Can you share any other memories about your family's involvement with that business?
With the business, they did good business. It was really good for them.
Pick up the
Everybody
clothes.
say,
Tell him about picking up the clothes.
well, first of all, I had two brothers, and one was the oldest one. And Daddy bought a bicycle for him. He had to go pick up clothes on the bicycle. He said he got so tired of that. But then once he learned how to drive, he bought a little car for them. And then they went and picked up clothes. He had one of the oldest brothers to go with him. And they would pick the clothes up in the car then. And that's what he did. He came out and washed the shows to get clothes from out here,
From downtown.
from downtown, yeah.
Were there any particular challenges or triumphs your family faced when you were a child?
And what?
Were there any challenges or triumphs your family faced?
They gave, you said they gave,
Were there any particular challenges
oh,
or hard times or good times
no, we
that
had
the
good,
family faced?
we always had good time. Cause if my daddy didn't go to Bartow, that's where he was from, cause his mom was living there. We would go down there. I got so tired of going to Bartow, cause Bartow ain't nothing but a little country place, and I didn't know too many people there. And then after that, if we didn't go there, Daddy would always take us riding somewhere,
On
so we could see
Sundays.
places
On Sundays.
on Sunday, yeah. Cause Daddy was gonna work, and Dad, I don't care where we went on Sunday, my dad was gonna come back by that shop and go in there. He always go back in that shop every Sunday, as if he had to do something in there, he had nothing to do. He just wanted to go check it out, I guess. But he took care, cause my mom didn't work, she just worked in the shop, doing that. And my daddy took care of all four of us, and we had a good life. Everybody thought I was rich. I said, rich, what is that? Cause we had bicycles and they didn't have bicycles, and we had 2 cars. So they always said we was rich.
And you owned your own house.
And what?
You owned the house.
And we owned the house. And we had the house redone one time. And I think they really thought we had moved. But he had painted it. His daddy had it fixed up and had it painted another pretty color. And everybody thought, said we had everything. We didn't have everything. My daddy just worked hard and gave us what he wanted us to have. And he spoiled me because I was the only girl. I could get anything I wanted from him. Anything. I could get it.
And you were called Doll.
And I was called Doll. They called me Doll because when I was born, my big brother, he was a little older than me. Well, he was going to get me out that bed. He was going to try to pull me out. And I think he hit me. And they said, no, you don't hit her, that's your little doll. So they calling me Doll. and I was the only girl. But we had a good life. Dad and mother took care of us real good. Mother cooked food every day for us. We didn't have to eat out the can or nothing. Yeah, she real food. She cooked real food for us. And we never eat until my daddy, before daddy got a car, he used to walk from his job to home. And then time we looked down the street and see him coming, well, we know it's time for us to get back in the house then, because we all ate together at the same time. We didn't know one person eat, and the next we ate, no, we all ate together. And I thought that was good, and that's something I tried to do with mine, until they got in different activities and they couldn't be there. But anyway, we had a good life, very good.
And what did your parents do for a living?
Well, my parents were educators. My mother was a classroom teacher, and my dad was principal at Jones High School. And Dad served time in the military prior to that. He was in the Air Force. And then he was coach in Leesburg, Florida at the high school. And then he was hired on at Jones High School as a coach. He became the athletic director, assistant principal, and then principal of Jones High School, which he was principal while I was in high school, so you can kind of know how that went, being principal's daughter. But anyway, my parents took good care of us. I don't really remember wanting for anything. You know, whatever I needed, it was there. I had it. We had a good life. Probably the biggest struggle for me was I was a principal's daughter, and sometimes people were not so nice.
Yeah.
Meaning faculty could not be nice. Meaning sometimes people, just in general, would not be so nice because of my dad's reputation and the type of person he was. He said what he meant, and he meant what he said, and he backed it all up. And so that was it. And sometimes, you know, kids, because they got in trouble in school, they wanted to take it out on me because they got in trouble. So, but thank God I had some friends that were my champions, known since we were 4 years old, that would always come to my rescue and help me out with things. So I had a good life. Yeah, I had a good life with my grandparents as well. So I don't know the struggles except trying to get over what people would say to me. Could be horrible things, what they would say. So you have different struggles, you know, and some of the things I've never repeated because they were just awful things. And it was not just coming from kids, you know. So other than that, you know, I went on with life, kept going. That didn't hold me down, you know.
And they would do that too, because they did it to me. Because my mama made a lot of my clothes, and I was always real cute when I went to school. And they did like that.
And my grandmother made my clothes too. And I saw it as homemade clothes. And because they looked like everything that came out of the store, people would think that, you know, you had all this money and you were going to Jordan Marsh and Ivy's
to go back
and all of these places. But no, my grandmother was sewing for us. So I kind of felt like, you all get store-bought stuff. My stuff is made. So why are you doing that? Why are you saying that? But, you know, be that as it was, life was still good.
Yeah.
Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I do. I have a brother, Wilbur Gary II. I have a brother, and there were just two of us. So that's kind of how things were a little easier. A lot easier as compared to my husband. You know, there was a dad at home. There was a mother. There were grandparents. So we had all of this support that unfortunately everybody doesn't have. But one thing I must say, my grandmother was very, very adamant about you owe everybody the time of day.
That's right.
Just because you have something, you don't talk about anybody else. And you treat them the same way you want to be treated.
Right.
So I grew up, I was not one of those persons that would talk about other people because that just was not me. That's not the way that I was raised. That's not what I thought. I never thought I was better than anybody else. I thought we were all equal because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know, that's what my grandparents taught me, and that's the way that I live my life as today. You know, just a humble servant of the Lord, you know, and work every day with the state of Florida. So I got to go, as I say, go see Mr. Charlie until I decide to retire every day.
And we
So,
all joined church down there in Mount Zion. It was right down the street from here. And we always we had church. And during the summer, we always had, what was that? We did
Bibles, vacation Bible school.
with the other church. And we had more fun. And then we went out to Howard to do our picnicking and stuff.
Yeah, Mom was talking about when she was a child, she was the first one in her family to join Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church,
Yeah.
which is located at 535 West Washington Street. And after she joined, then her brother joined, her big brother joined, her mother joined, the other siblings joined, and she married my father, who was already a member of that church. Him and his family, his daddy was Anthony Gary, his mother was Ethel Gary, and the siblings, they all were part of that church.
Yeah.
And sometime later, he met my mother, and they got married, and then we were, as you say, born into that church and participated very heavily in that church. And after I got to be a big girl, high school, my granddaddy joined the church. My mother's father joined the church.
Because I think he wouldn't join because in his family, in Bartow, I think when they got ready to eat, they could not eat until all the people who was there visiting ate. And then my dad just didn't care nothing about that. So finally he did join. And that's why he told us it was. You can't mistreat children because they don't forget.
And you mentioned how you were also an educator.
Yes.
At Jones or somewhere else?
It was.
She's taught at, she did an internship from college when she's an education major. She did it at Washington Shores Elementary School. And then when she graduated, she got a job at Eccleston Elementary School. From there, when integration came through, she was allowed to choose the white school that she would go teach to. And that was Delaney Elementary School.
Right there, Delaney Street. You know where it is?
It's on the corner of
It's on
Gore
that
and
corner,
Delaney
yeah.
Street.
They done changed it now, it's not a school.
And then from there,
Yeah.
she went to Shenandoah Elementary School. One of her principals that she liked wanted her to go with her, so she went with her to Shenandoah. And then from there, she taught at Valencia Community College. She was a reading teacher, reading specialist. That's what she got a master's in at UCF.
Yeah.
And then
Now they teach you to read.
And then from there, she went to, she started doing, she did some teaching at Jones High School with a reading program. And then she finally retired.
After about 40 years. Yeah.
Bless you, my dear.
But I like teaching, I like children. And people don't like children, don't need to teach. They don't need to go nowhere near a child because they'll mistreat them. It's awful. Yeah.
And Ernest, what did your grandparents do for a living?
My grandfather, he was a agriculture person, and he picked fruit, he picked peas, beans, whatever it took to put food on the table for his grandchildren, you know. And we were, unfortunately, we was on welfare and food stamps and subsidiary things like that to survive in the projects of Carver Court. We never owned anything throughout my life as a kid. We never owned anything. We never had a car. We never had new things, new toys. And you would always be kind of raw in feelings because you didn't get the Christmas gifts and you didn't get this and you didn't get that. And so my grandfather would have like oranges and pecans and stuff like that in a little stocking bag for us, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you
And so when it comes to income, we were we were welfare recipients, and so we survived. My grandfather, he made it to where we could survive off of, I think it was like $112 a month that we survived off of, and he did a really good job with that, taking care of us, and so it was a struggle, and it becomes difficult sometimes when you think about that. But he was a man that really believed in order for you to survive, you had to work hard for whatever you wanted. And he didn't believe in stealing or taking anything from anybody. And so that's what he did. He gave us what he had, and he was there. Unfortunately, things happened between him and my mother, and he had to leave us. And by him leaving us there, we was there with our mom, and sometimes she was there, sometimes she wasn't there, you know. And so we had to, me and my siblings, we had to kind of survive there in that place. And all of us had different fathers. 5 of us had different fathers, but we survived that. We survived that, and we went through high school. We graduated. My sister went and got her GED. My other brothers, they graduated. 2 of us went to college, you know, that kind of thing there. And life happens, struggles happen. I am a survivor of that. And I could tell many students that no matter what you do in life, you have to make the right choices. You have to make the right choices. And my grandfather would always tell me, and I learned this later from biblical principles, is you have to follow the Father's instructions. And so that's what I try my best to do. Hear what my grandfather had to say when I was a kid and follow those instructions. And from that's where a foundation was laid in me to be somebody in life. And so I've got a degrees. I've did military 20 years. I've traveled extensively overseas. I worked for different governments. I mean, different people in government, you know, and I've worked in the school system, done those kind of things. And I would say this to anyone who's out there that think that they cannot make it, you can make it. You can make it. I'm a living witness on that.
You just can't give up.
You can make it. You have to think positive, be positive, and do positive things.
How many siblings did you have?
I had 4, and all 4 deceased. And my testimony is this, is that everybody's deceased and was on drugs. Usually the drugs, alcohol, gunshot wounds, or AIDS or something like that. The crack cocaine epidemic came through and took out pieces of my family. Drugs and alcohol took out pieces of my family, you know. And I chose not to do that. I chose at one point in my life to do it. I overdosed on drugs in 1980 in Korea, and I survived that. And I'm 46 years, I'm 40, this is 2025, and that happened when I was 25 years old. And so I'm 40 years ahead of the game.
Yay.
You understand? So I'm clean for all those years. And I could tell anybody out there, you can survive, but you have to make the right choices.
Choices is important.
You have to make the right choices. I love my family. I love my nieces and my nephews. And whatever they need, I try to help them out. It's whatever they need. You know, and my sons, and my grandkids. But my thing is, you have choices to make. And that's why I'm sitting here today. At 70 years old, I'm sitting right here today.
How old are you?
70.
Oh.
And very prosperous.
Uh-oh.
Very prosperous in spirit and good health is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Granddad taught you well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Mhm.
And I listen to him. Yeah.
Thank God for grandparents.
Mhm.
Parents too, but grandparents.
Absolutely. Transitioning to the education, I know we've all kind of mentioned where you went to school. So all of you went to Callahan, or you two went to Callahan Elementary?
We went to
Yeah.
Callahan. Ernest went to
I
Holden
went to Holden
Street
Street,
Elementary.
So starting with Alfreda,
Alfreda.
Alfreda. Talk to me about your experience in Callahan Elementary School, from what you remember.
In Callahan.
Yeah,
Going to school here.
yeah.
Oh, going to school here.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine. We
But you started out as at Holden
at Holden
Street.
Street, and then we moved over here. Cause then I don't know why. I can't remember why. But
Because Holden Street,
yeah,
they went from
yeah.
first grade to
Kindergarten,
sixth grade.
kindergarten to sixth grade.
And then Callahan,
Yeah, picked
at
up.
the time, was Jones High School.
Yeah.
And Jones High School went from seventh grade to 12th grade.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so that's where I was.
Mhm.
How were the teachers back in elementary school with you?
Oh, the teachers was fine. You better not get a whipping at home, at school, because you don't get one when you get home. Don't care what it was. Ain't nobody gonna ask what you did. You just gonna get that whipping. If you got it at school, you don't get one when you get home. And one time, we had telephone. Everybody didn't have a telephone. We had telephone. And they told me, now you take that phone and you call your mom and them again if you want. We gonna beat you up. I said, yes, ma'am. I ain't tell nobody else no more. Because they would beat you up. Yeah. Because we can't do that. But we had a good time. The only thing I remember about coming from elementary school, every day was a fight. It's gonna be a fight. Where the fight gonna be, it don't matter. My mama said, you take your behind down that way, when that fight again, I'm gonna when you get home. You're gonna get another fight, okay? Yeah, they would fight. The children would just fight, I don't know why we fight like that. But they would fight. But not me, not going down there. Cause I was little, they'd beat me up anyway. I was little, I wasn't gonna fight nobody. I was gonna run home. I was gonna show them how good I could run.
Track star, huh?
Track star, I run home. Yeah, cause if you had clothes and looked nice, they didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. But that was all right. I still made friends with them. I didn't go away from them. Because I was scared to go away from them.
And what about you? What your elementary school experience?
Okay,
Yeah.
my elementary school experience, from first through sixth grade, I went to Callahan. And I remember, and that's where we are now, the Callahan Center. I remember that I had to walk from Carter Street down to here, Washington Street, which was a good little walk.
Right.
And I for the most part, I walked by myself. And coming that way, the world was very different then as compared to what it is now. You would look at Parramore now and think, they let her walk like that? Yes, I did. Everybody was respectful. There was no trafficking, stealing little girls and putting them in vans or pulling them into buildings and doing God knows what to them. Did not happen. You were able to walk from Callahan, and I would take one of my friends, Stephanie. I was in the first grade, she was in third grade, and we would walk together to school. But that was a good little walk, and I did that every morning. And then after school, I would walk from Callahan to Terry Street, to my granddaddy's cleaners. But from what I remember with my teachers, they were very creative. I remember in the 3rd grade, we had to pay for lunch when we were in school. So, you know, some of us, yeah, well, I don't know how that worked. But we paid for lunch and the teacher would take all of the money. I remember the lunch being 35 cents.
Yeah.
The teacher would take everybody who bought money and put all that money together. That's how we learned to add, subtract, and count money. Because we had a store.
So, yeah.
And what you did for the store was you would bring, like, if your parents opened a can of Vienna sausage or peas or whatever, rinse the can out and bring it back to school, and that became our store, would be set up. So you would get to buy things in the store, and you were given money, and you'd have to pay for it like that. So that's how we became very proficient with how to handle money. I remember spelling bees.
Yeah.
Not the world's best speller. My husband won spelling bees. I'll let him tell his story, but not me. You know, I was just, after they go down the first row to see who could spell, I was out. You know, that just wasn't my thing. And our teachers cared. You would not sit in class and chit chat and talk.
That's right.
They would paddle your little hands. They had red pencils.
Yeah.
You got something wrong, they would mark all over that paper, and you'd be like, what are you crying for? Get it right. This is how it should be. None of that, this like they do now.
Yeah.
Every kid is a winner.
Yeah.
Well, there's one winner.
Yeah. Gotta be.
So, and I grew up under that. There's one winner. You didn't win that, that's okay. Let's learn how to move on in life and how to get it done. That's what my teachers, my family instilled in us as we were kids coming up. It was a little different for me when I left Callahan, because Callahan was an all-black situation. Then I went to the white schools, and the people looked different. You know, the kids at Cherokee, now I'm in school with white kids. I've never been in school with white kids. Yeah, I saw them at the malls or wherever, but I wasn't with them. So now I'm sitting with girls that have this long yellow hair, and some of them have green eyes and blue eyes, and that was just very different for me.
Yeah.
So we had to get used to that, because my hair wasn't like theirs, and they would make ugly remarks.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, it wasn't this world of we all got along in that. Well, we had to get along because we went to the same school. But sometimes those kids weren't nice to you because it was different for them too.
Yeah.
So that's how I learned to accept it. It's just differences. And let's move on to what our similarities are. So then I got back to Jones High School, and I was on my own turf, but the difference there was I was principal's daughter. So things have always been a little quirky, but okay, because that's just something that you have to overcome and move forward. So that was what it was like coming up in school here in Orlando for me.
Yeah, I remember. She was over here in school, and she went home. The teacher sent her home because she had a
The
little...
principal.
The principal sent her home. No. Yeah, and she had on a little... It was a shorts, but it was a skirt with shorts. And she sent her home by herself. I looked for that lady, I was gonna whoop her. I was so mad at her sending my baby home by herself, because that wasn't what we did. Always had somebody to be with you. And that's what I say now. But I was so mad at that lady, I went all over school looking for her. They wouldn't tell me where she was. I was gonna get her, because she sent my baby down by herself, and that's dangerous. You know, even though it didn't happen all the time like it does now, it still could happen. You'll never know who's out there. But anyway.
And your experience in Holden Elementary?
Holden Street?
Yeah, Holden Street, yeah.
Are we staying with Holden Street, or we going with middle school, high school, which one?
We're staying with elementary, then we're gonna go to high school.
Okay, okay.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay. Well, Holden Street was, it was good. Yeah, I went to Holden Street and I walked to school. Had a lot of friends.
Did they fight every
That
day
kind of
coming
thing.
home?
Yeah, they were fighting.
They were fighting.
Yeah.
They
And
just
so,
had to fight. I don't know why.
We didn't fight.
Yeah.
We weren't fighting.
Yeah, Holden Street was, it was very good for me, you know, and I got to meet a lot of kids there and have a good time. I was in the 4th grade, and that is teacher Miss Bush.
Yeah, she was
Miss
good.
Bush was a very nice person, and she was a very mean person.
No, she wasn't.
And so to me, she
That's
was.
your story.
She was like she wasn't mean, but she just wanted you to do your work.
Yeah.
I call that person mean then. You know, I wouldn't call that person mean now. You know, I just want you to do
Yeah.
assignments. But anyway, I like to read, so she would allow me to read certain books and such. And so she was. But before that, they had this line. They put us in this line, and they was picking students out. And she chose me to go to her class. I was in 4th grade. Her class was 6th grade. So I skipped over 5th and went to 6th grade. Well, I went to 6th grade, and I'm in her class, Miss Bush's class. So Miss Bush tells me that because I can spell real good, I'm going to put you in the spelling bee contest. No, Miss Bush, I don't want to do that. Hold your hand out, Ernest. Wow. Oh yes, Miss Bush, I do. You know that kind of thing. You know. But anyway, I learned how to spell. I was a pretty good speller. But the problem with that was my grandfather. My grandfather didn't like education. Well, he was raised up in Early County, Georgia, where they hung you if you tried to read. Those kind of things there, and he wasn't adamant about that. When him and his wife split up, he took my mother and his son, and his other son and his daughter went with his ex-wife. Well, they went to school and graduated, but my mother and her brother didn't go to school. He didn't let them go to school, and he kept them in the fields. And so he had us here in Orlando, and it was very difficult for him to allow us to read in the house. So I used to take my books and hide my books up under the house, and I would get my books out and I would read my books up under the house. I just like to read. And so, with that said, I love Miss Bush.
You want to spell?
I won the spelling bee. Yeah,
For the school?
Yeah, I won the spelling bee for school. But the thing with that was, Miss Bush never let up on me.
That's a good thing.
She never let up on me. And then the best thing about Miss Bush, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That's what she gave me.
Ernest Sapp ate those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Oh yeah, you want me to spell some? Feed me. I'm like the whale of SeaWorld, give them those fishes and they move. I'm like, give me some food and you got it. Yeah, but I really did. I like elementary school. I did. And then the fights, yes, lots of fights. I was always running.
Lots of fights.
I was always running. But this one time I stood my ground. And the guy never messed with me again. He became my best friend. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's elementary school. Yeah.
And transitioning to high school, which I know we've already sort of talked.
The high school.
Yeah. Did you attend? What high school did you attend?
It was at Jones High.
Jones High.
Yeah, Jones High.
Tell them about high school. Tell them about you being in the band.
Oh yeah, I was in the band. I ain't want to be in no damn band. my dad was gonna make us all be in the band. My daddy played the clarinet when he was young, so he gonna make all us be in the band. I told him I didn't want to blow nothing. I didn't want to mess up my lips. So I told him to get me a drum. He went and bought me a drum and bought me the case that the drum go in. I ain't want that drum either. So I had to take it in the band. So I had a little drum. I beat the little drum. It was a little snare drum. I had a little case that go in, everything. But I didn't want that drum either. I didn't want to be in the band. I wanted to be in the dance group. That's what I wanted. But he said, you're going to be in drum. You ain't going to be in that unless you be in the drum group. No.
So you were in both. You were in the band and the dance group.
Yeah, I was in the band for 2 minutes.
Oh.
And then I got out. Yeah,
So,
What was your favorite subject in high school?
my favorite subject,
Yeah, subject.
let's see. I like science, I think. It was science I like. Not that I knew all the science, but I like science.
Tell them about the Gay Teeners Club that you started.
Oh, yeah. I started a little club called the Gay Teens, but we weren't gay. We were just, that was just a good name for us at that time.
You didn't have
It ain't gay like it is now. But we used to have more fun. And we would meet at the houses. And boy, their mama used to cook some good food for us every Sunday we come to meet. I think we met twice a month. But that was giving us somewhere to go and something to do. And that's how we started that, because we just couldn't be in the street, none of us. And we had to get home before that sun go down.
Tell them about the Sugar Bowl.
And we had something called the Sugar Bowl. You ever heard of that? That was so much fun. And it was right around the corner from where my dad's cleaning was,
On Church and Terry.
on Church and Terry. But the Sugar Bowl was good. But you go down there and you meet your little boyfriend. And you sit and talk with him a little bit. Then it's time to run home. We had to run all the way from Church Street to Carter Street.
And you went there after church.
And we went there after church. We leave church. We go to BTU, I think you call it.
Baptist Training Union.
Yeah, we go there. And then we leave out before it's over, so we can get to the Sugar Bowl and do that. But that's what children did. But we wasn't doing nothing bad. We just wanted to go down there and be with other people. And we knew my parents weren't going to let us just go. But they were good parents, though. But that just meant for us to do right and be right. And they didn't care if it wasn't under her parent. At that time, whatever my parent told the mother to do, they did it. And whatever they told me to do, I did it, you know. It didn't have to be your real parent, but you obeyed everybody. And that's what we did. Cause it looked like to me every time I slipped off and went over to Winter Park one time. I caught the bus, had a little 10 cent, helped my little bus, and me and my friend, we caught the bus and went over to Winter Park. Boy, before I got back home, my mama knew I had been over there. Now, who in the hell told you to go to Winter Park? Now, she was a mess. I don't know how she found out that, but she found it out. And I said, nobody. She said, well, I'm going to let you know who nobody is. Okay? I'm going to let you know who nobody is. She didn't play. They didn't play.
oh my jeez.
Yeah.
Did you have any memorable teachers at Jones High?
At Jones High.
Yeah.
Your teachers, who are some of your
Oh, let
teachers
me
that you
see.
really like? Miss Emery,
Yeah, Miss Emery, she was good.
that's the gym teacher, right?
She was like,
She taught you gym?
yeah, she was a gym teacher. But she lived a long time because she followed us right on out to the other school. And I think she retired about 2 years, then she died. She was real good though.
Anybody else?
And we was on the cheering squad. So I was on the cheering squad. And I had to get home before dark. Whatever it was, it got to be before dark. If that dog come in there and I was there, it wasn't going to be no food going at the house. Not with my mama. No. But she was a good little old lady.
And what did you want to be when you grew up, and why?
What I wanted to be,
When you were in high school, what did you want to be when you grow up?
just get out of high school. I just wanted to get out of high school.
Tell them you went to school in Detroit for business.
Well, I did go to Detroit. I wanted to be in business. And I went to Detroit because they didn't have a place around Atlanta that I could go to and get the business education I wanted. So I had a friend, her brother lived there, and her brother and her family. So we went up there, and we both went to the same school, and we did the business stuff. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And then when I left there, I should have gone on to New York with her, She went on to New York. But she was going to meet her boyfriend. I didn't have one, so I had to come home. And when I came home, what happened?
You met my daddy.
I met your dad. I probably met him.
And the rest is history.
Yep. And here I am.
Yeah, I was little and cute. I knew it.
Oh, Lord.
What about I know since your dad was the principal, that was sort of a
Yeah.
somewhat unique situation.
Yes, we'll
to-
call it unique. That's
yeah.
a good word, unique situation.
But nevertheless, just talk to me a little bit more about your high school experience, what you did.
Okay.
You know.
In high school, I think my favorite subject was science too. I just like science. That was I think it was my dad's favorite subject. I like science. Everything about science. In particular, I remember we had a zoology lab, and in the lab we had snakes, different kind of lizards, and I can't remember, it's something else, maybe guinea pigs or something in there. So I went in there, and I remember taking out the black indigo snake, and I was friends with most of the football players, basketball players, because girls were really catty for me. So I took the snake out. I thought it would be so cool. What if I take the snake out of the cage and just kind of walk down the hall with it? So I did that. I took it out. I walked down the hall with it, and the guy's like, "Get away from me with that snake! Why you have that snake? I'm gonna go tell your daddy on you." I said, "I'm a girl. You gonna tell him because I got a snake and would put it in their face." So that was fun. My dad would get on the intercom. He only did it once.
Yeah.
Whoever has that snake, I strongly urge you to put that snake. I urge you to put that snake up. And it was me. And I kind of came up behind my dad with the snake. I said, "Well, see, Daddy, I'm going to put that snake back, girl." I'm walking around here with that snake, so. I don't know about boys really liking snakes and all that in high school, but anyway, I did. Now, I'm so afraid of a snake. I see him in the yard, I scream.
I know.
I think my favorite subject in high school, it was science, and the next thing I like writing. I like writing a lot. Math, not so much, even though I got a degree in business with a minor in accounting. No, not so much. But I was in the choir. Mrs. Harvard was our teacher. So I was a sugar lump at Jones High School. And then I was Miss Second Attendant to Miss Jones High in high school.
Yeah.
I just had a lot of fun times. I had my little circle of friends, and that's where I stayed and had a good time.
Yeah.
So that was it for me in high school.
And I'm curious, how did Jones, if it changed when you attended compared to when you attended?
Yeah, Jones was always a big deal. When Mama was at Jones, that was the school.
Yeah.
That was the school that blacks went to, period.
Period. Yeah, okay.
All of this Oak Ridge, Edgewater, no. No, they were at Jones High School. Or Wymore Tech, right?
Yeah,
Wymore in
Wymore in
Eatonville,
Eatonville.
because it was too far. And kids used to come from Winter Garden
Yeah.
to come to Jones High School because black kids couldn't go to another school.
Yeah.
So that's how it
And
was.
even from Kissimmee, they would come from Kissimmee too. They come, yeah.
But for me, it was during Ernest's time, that was when the big push went on to close Jones High
Yeah.
School.
Right.
People no longer wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
So my dad was a huge advocate of not closing Jones
Yeah,
High School. And I remember when they used to come, community people used to come to our house and they used to meet and come up with strategies as what they were going to do in order not to close Jones High School. So that was huge back then. And Jones High School is still open today. So whatever they did, it worked.
Yeah. Because even the kids, they joined in with the grown people and they marched. And they said, y'all not gonna close that school.
And why did they want to close the school?
Because it was a black school.
Because it was
Same
black.
reason Callahan was closed, Holden
Yeah.
Street was closed. They were going to this integration thing. So
Yeah.
close the black schools, but leave the white schools open.
Yeah.
And you bus the black kids to the white neighborhoods, to schools, which
But
we
they
just
were-
didn't agree with that. But they did anyway, because like Callahan was perfect school. There was no schools around this area for the kids to go to, and then they had to bus them,
Yeah.
or they had to walk to another school, you know. So by the time you walk to another school, how fair is that? What are you gonna understand? You're not gonna get the math, the science, anything, because you're tired. You know, you ate a breakfast at the house, maybe, maybe not, but you gotta walk all this distance.
Yeah.
But the other kids, the white kids, didn't have to do that. They were there in their neighborhood, they walked around the corner and they were at school,
And
so.
my mama said they used to throw things out of the bus at them when they were walking, coming to school. They would throw things out the bus at them, the white kids did.
That was when the kids walked, the black kids walked from Jonestown, which is over by Reeves
Yeah.
Terrace now, to downtown Orlando, down where Callahan is.
Yeah.
The white kids would have the bus,
Yeah,
the black kids wouldn't, they had to walk to school and they would throw,
throw things out.
spit on them, cans, bottles, whatever.
Whatever.
So that was the difference from my grandmother to my mother to
Yeah.
Ernest in our time. The difference with Jones High School. You might remember something else that's different, I don't know.
Well, from my experience, like I was at Jones in 7th and 8th grade, and then Cherokee in 9th grade.
But Cherokee was that integrated school
Yeah.
Yeah,
that you
Yeah.
went to for a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it was still integrated when you
Yeah.
went, you know.
yeah, it was
Kind
Cherokee. I think they started integrated school in '66
Yeah.
or somewhere in '66 or somewhere up in there. Well, when I got there, it was a
It was black.
we was the first blacks.
Not
I
Cherokee.
think we were the first blacks over there, and we kind of got, they kind of beat on us a little bit with books and stuff like this, like that. Call us the N-word and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we went through that in 9th grade. Then in 10th grade, I went to Boone High School, and over at Boone High School, it was like that too. And so, you know, you go through your little N-word stuff and the fights and that kind of thing there, you know. And I was from Carver Court, you know, and so Carver Court, we're kind of different. Call us the N-word, we're gonna fight.
Gotta fight.
You know, because some kids weren't from there and they called them the N-word, they kept walking, called us the N-word, we're gonna fight. So I got a lot of trouble playing football. Well, I played football and I got a lot of trouble, so I had to kind of get out of there, you know, before I get put in jail or something like that. And I went to Jones. I went to Jones in my junior year, and at Jones, played football, basketball, and you know, just trying to do the right thing at Jones. And it was good for me. Probably would have been better if I stayed at Boone and played sports, you know, because I was a sports person and very likable person there, and I was doing really good there. And, you know, I transferred to Jones, but the subject that really was good for me was reading. I like to read. So it was reading in English was my thing, and it was good for me. And I had this teacher, Miss Patrick, and Miss Patrick was like Mama. She was kind of short lady. She was a beautiful lady, and you know, and so you know.
That was my friend.
Yeah. So I'm reading. You know, I like reading. You know, that thing there. But then I like to type also. I was a typist. And so I like typing, you know, all the girls in typing, you know, so I'm following this girl to go in the room, so I signed up for typing, I'm on the mail in typing, 2 years, 11, 12 grade, you know. But high school for me was, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed high school. I enjoyed the people, the friends, everything was good for me, but I was not going to college. Definitely didn't have college on my mind. I didn't know people didn't, from my neighborhood and from my house, nobody, the only thing we talked about was trying to get out of high school and get a job.
Yeah.
That was my main focus, was getting out of high school, getting a job, making sure I could get me a place to stay, get me some food to eat. College, that was never, it was on my mind at the white school, because the coaches were talking to us. They were implementing policies and things like that with a team, and they were talking about grades, they were talking about this, they were talking about that, you know. And then when I got to Jones, I sat out that year, and most of those kids at Jones were playing from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. They was already in the system at Jones. I was on the outside of that system. And so, with that said, I'm like, oh no, I need to just graduate. That's what I need to do.
I knew you was.
So college was not in the program, you know. But overall, the school, Jones High School, was really good to me. The coaches and stuff like that, the teachers and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I do now. I serve at Jones now to help the kids out there, to help them understand that you don't have to be a failure.
That's right.
You don't have to be a failure. I am not a failure, you know. I am who God transformed to be, who I am today,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing.
It's one experience I want to say at Jones, because it was unusual, and all the high schools taught foreign languages. So at Jones, most of the kids chose to speak Spanish, and it was so funny because every year there was a contest of sorts within Orange County for Spanish. Jones would always go, and we'd win. We win first place, and here we're speaking against the kids from Edgewater, Winter Park, and we would win. We'd come in first, second, or third place in what we do. And the kids from those other schools would hate to see us coming. They're bad. Who gave them the date? How did they know to get here? And we would win. So that was always a lot of fun for us, because it wasn't the sports where you were taking first place or whatever. This was an academic.
Yeah.
But it was a different kind of academic, because now you're speaking in another language. And we're not supposed to know how to speak English, let alone Spanish.
And
So
then-
that was just a good accomplishment for us.
And one more thing that I didn't bring out was at Boone High School, there were certain books that you had. Well, there was a sophomore book, a junior book, and a senior book.
Oh, really?
Well, when I transferred to Jones junior books were my sophomore books at Boone.
Oh.
And so what I'm saying to that is the books that Jones were supposed to be getting from the district or from the state, they were redirecting those books to other schools and giving Jones the leftover books
That's right. They did that.
from the other schools.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they don't do that now, but then it was very prevalent that you would find those
Some
books.
of
And
them.
so the tests that I took at Boone in 10th grade were the same tests I was taking at Jones as a junior. You don't think it make any sense to you, but that is what I did not like. And that was it wasn't difficult for me, I just didn't like it. Yeah.
Well, we didn't understand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you?
Right,
yeah,
because
he
we
knew
would,
it.
the books, that he knew it because he went to the white school and he saw it.
Yeah.
I would get that same book
Yeah.
that said Boone was scratched out, or it would say Edgewater was scratched out.
Yeah.
And then, but that's the book I gotta use, and people have written in it,
Yeah.
and some of the answers they wrote there were wrong.
Yeah.
We were
yeah.
like, who did this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't they know that this was the wrong answer?
And why did they do us like that? Why did they not
Right.
give us new books, just like the other kids got new books?
No, we didn't get new books.
Yeah,
Our money had to be used for other things.
yeah,
So books, secondary.
yeah.
But you've got some of
But you got
some
to
of
say-
Orlando's finest. Educators, doctors, lawyers, police chiefs,
Yeah.
mayors to come from where?
Yeah.
Jones
Jones.
High School.
Yeah.
Athletes, professional
Yes,
athletes.
yeah, pro
Jones High
athletes,
School.
NBA, NFL.
NBA, NFL, track,
Right.
sports.
Yeah, everything.
Lawyers, doctors. It's not just entertainment.
Yeah.
Right, clergymen, everything
Clergymen,
came from
it's
Jones High
everything.
School.
Jones High School. Yeah.
And people and they at one time, they said, they had a dividing line. And if you lived over here, you couldn't go to Jones. You had to go over here to the white school. And all of them hate that now. They
Yeah.
want to go to Jones.
Yeah, they want to go to Jones, but they can't go to Jones now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Can't go
even
to-
now, like we're planning our class 50th reunion anniversary, however you want to say it. We finished in 1975, so we're working on that now. And what we have found is the kids that went to, let's say Evans, for instance, Boone, Oak Ridge,
Yeah.
wherever they went, they're not really privy to the information that their classmates are doing for their reunions, and they don't get the same reception that they get at Jones High School. So we always, even Ernest with
My
his,
class is open like that too.
we open our reunions to those students that graduated at other places, because why? The other schools don't want them there.
And this
Right.
is 2025?
25, and it's
And
still
still
happening
like
50
that.
years later. So you know, those that are older than us that transferred over in 1966, they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
But Jones is always, we open our arms,
Mm.
we let people in, and we help. We're just that kind of community.
And then in high school that day, or that year, they wouldn't allow us to come to Jones if you were supposed to go to another school.
Yeah, that's right.
But the white kids
They could come.
that were supposed to come to Jones, they never came to Jones.
That's right.
They never came to Jones, and that was
Yeah.
that was a policy there that, okay, they didn't go, so what? But you guys gotta go. We had to go to Edgewater, we had to go to Oak Ridge, we had to go to Evans, we had to go to Boone, we even had to go to Colonial.
They sent buses for us.
They
to
sent
those
buses.
places.
Yeah.
They sent buses for us to go to those places.
Yeah.
And so we got white kids who live across the street from Jones. They didn't make them go to Jones because their parents didn't want them to go to Jones.
Yeah. To the black school.
You know, yeah. So that was
Yeah.
that was something.
Yeah, that's a
there.
good point.
Yeah,
I forgot all about that.
yeah. They were right over Rio Grande. Rio Grande is right across the street from the projects from where I was raised up in Orlando. Of course, Gore Avenue, Rio Grande is across the street. All that was white populated.
Yeah.
All those kids went to Boone.
They
And,
should.
And they were supposed to go to Jones.
and they were supposed to go to Jones.
Yeah.
My next door neighbor lived right next door to me. He went to Jones and I had to go to Boone. The other building
Yeah,
across the
they
street
mixed
from our building, the whole building went to Jones, and the building behind it, the whole building went to Boone.
Yeah. And that's
You
the
know.
way they did it.
And they made you do that,
Yeah, they did.
you know, unless you
Oh,
were like
there's so many
me,
now.
you know, you're gonna fight, so you can go.
You get it.
Please take him back to Jones.
Yeah, please take it back to Jones. Like, you sit him like, put him in a truck,
And we at Jones said, thank you.
put him in a cage like a tiger, like a real tiger, right? Then when he get over to open the cage, let him out.
Let 'em out.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, since you mentioned you sub at Jones now
Yeah.
today, how has it changed from your perspective since you were a student?
Jones is,
Yeah, 'cause he goes.
the teacher, the principals, they're very adamant about education. Not saying they weren't adamant about it then, but they're very adamant about education, but more adamant about students being responsible. Students they're adamant about discipline and helping students understand success. They talk about it's only 1,700 kids out there, maybe 1,800 kids, but the scores are somewhat low. It's like a C average school, but there's a lot of students out there
Yeah.
who are going to college. But then there's a lot of students out there who cannot speak English.
Yeah.
So when you look at that and you look at ELA, and how that would help a student speak English, right? And look at the teachers and the demographics of everything around Jones High School, I think they're doing pretty good. They're doing real good. You know, they're competitive in sports.
Yeah.
They're competitive with honor roll students there. The ROTC program is competitive. The band is competitive. Liberal arts are competitive. Math scores with certain students, they're competitive. You know, so when you look at that and you look at that principal out there, Orlando, I think he's doing a really wonderful job with them kids as well as expected. They might have a fight every now and then out there, but the discipline part of that he takes gets rid of that. And like I was telling those students out there, I tell the students all the time, all the students at Jones High School, you're awesome. You're great students. You're capable of being successful in any and everything that you do.
Okay.
I explain that to them all the time when I'm walking in the hallway and I see them or talking to them. You have to speak those things to
That's
those
right.
students to let them know they don't care where you're from.
That's right.
I don't care how you, and then there's a lot of students out there with no fathers. There's a lot of students out there with their grandparents, just like I was.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to talk to those kids, talk to those students, and let them know that you can do this. And a lot of parents, they won't send their kids there because, oh, this, that, and this, and that. Well, I have subbed at 7 or 8 different high schools. I would rather be at Jones High School.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how it is. I would rather be at Jones High School. The students are very respectable. They're very respectable. You know, if they don't respect you, it's because they don't like you for some kind of reason. You know, you're not students are, and so it's like that. But to be just downright disrespectful, you might get 5 students out of the whole entire school like that. 5, you might get that. You know, but Mr. Sapp, he demands respect. I teach them that, and I teach them to respect all of their teachers.
Yeah.
Everybody when I'm out there. I do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at Jones. You know, and I love it. Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't trade it in for anything but my wife. She tells me not to go. She tells me not to go. I'm not going.
You go anyway.
Huh?
You go anyway.
Pray for me.
Transitioning to some of the businesses that existed when you all were younger in your communities. So, what kind of businesses existed in the neighborhood when you were younger?
What kind of business?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we went to a grocery store, we had to go to, what's that store name?
P&D,
The P&D.
like a neighborhood corner
Oh,
store.
yeah, it was a corner store called P&D
And Mr. Bridges.
and Mr. Bridges. That was right next door to my dad's shop, Mr. Bridges. So we went over there and got stuff. But it wasn't a whole lot of them stores. Cause we had to go to, what was the name of the store we went to?
P&D? On the
No,
corner?
P&D, no, we went to the big store.
Winn-Dixie?
Not Winn-Dixie.
Park and shop.
No, not Park and Shop.
Okay, we got out.
No, we used to get the wagon.
Oh, Mama, that was when you were a kid. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
She
something
said
you might
wagon.
remember.
You talking about
we
wagon
did.
and a horse?
Right.
Yeah. Well, we go to the store
And
then your daddy had to dry clean it.
and,
Your daddy had to try.
and Daddy had to dry clean, yeah. And,
Wagon and a horse.
and I don't know.
What about you?
Well, I remember when I was growing up, it had grown some. But what I do remember is my daddy's parents, the Garys, had what they called an account. My granddaddy had that account at P&D grocery store, and that was owned by, were they Syrians or?
Huh?
They were those Pauline, were they Syrians? Syrians, the ones that owned the store.
I think
They were Syrians. I think that's where the country the people were from. And they set up this store, and it was a pretty nice sized store. And but my grandmother would tell me, go over there and get a box of flour. And then I would say, okay, put this on our account. My mom would say, go over there and get some red Kool-Aid, put that on the account. Well, account today means a credit card.
Yeah.
It wasn't an account then, and they just ran it. And when they got paid, they went back and they paid off their account, whatever the customer was. So I do remember that. And I remember from my grandparents on Carter Street, directly in front of that house was Mr. Jack's store.
Yeah.
And it was just a little store where you can go in and you get your rock and roll cookies or your now-and-laters or your penny candy, your penny cookies, and a bottle of Coca-Cola or whatever, and get that kind of stuff. I don't know what he had in the bag. don't
Yeah.
know, maybe that was beans or canned goods or something, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's
But
all
there were a
they had,
lot of
their
corners.
bread and stuff.
Yeah, there were a lot of corner stores when I was coming up. And then as I got older, then we were able to go to the parking shops
Yeah.
and the Winn-Dixies.
Yeah.
But not when I was a little girl, we weren't doing that. What, you think about the stores? Oh, and then there was, I do remember my favorite restaurant, Uncle John's, he was a family friend. It was called Frazier's,
Yeah.
and it was on Church Street.
Yeah.
And I remember that there were other places along there that where black people shopped, and I'm assuming they were black stores,
Yeah.
black-owned
Yeah, they
stores. That's pretty much it. It was from
Eat that hamburger.
it was from Parramore down to where the arena is now. All of that was kind of where black-owned and operated stores and houses in that area. So that's kind of all I remember from that. And then there was black gas stations.
Yeah.
One was on the corner of Terry and Church Street, and then there was some in Washington Shores. I remember 2 in Washington Shores, black-owned gas stations.
What kind of businesses existed in your neighborhood when you were
In
younger?
Carver Court,
Yeah,
there were Harder Rice grocery store was right there in the projects. It was right on the corner there, the Harder Rice grocery store. And that was where everybody went to get their stuff from him. Or Park and Sharp grocery store down on Gore Avenue with the Park and Sharp.
Yeah.
And later on, they built a 7-Eleven down on the corner of
Yeah.
Gore and
Orange Blossom Trail.
Orange Blossom Trail. You know, and so that's what we shopped at there. And the meat market that was on
Parramore and Gore.
Yeah, Parramore and Gore.
Yeah, I
There's a
forgot
meat
about the
market
meat
up
market.
there.
Yeah.
Meat market there, a little store up there, about the ABC Lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that was right there together.
And then there was Tip Top.
Yeah, Tip Top
Yeah,
grocery
Tip
store,
Top.
Paramore.
On
And then
Parramore
closed
and
now. It
Anderson.
was open for Elder Nice closed.
And then Burnell Hunter's mother, Genevieve's restaurant, that was black owned too.
Yeah, that was.
But not all these like Park and Shop, the 7-Elevens, they weren't, the meat store, they weren't black, but that's where we shopped.
Yeah, that's where we shopped at. Yeah, those stores there. Yeah.
And I remember, there was a Publix on the corner of, I think it was Robinson and Old Beach Tea.
Yeah.
We boycotted it because they were not hiring blacks,
Yeah.
but they wanted you to come spend your money there.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
And what year was that?
I was a little girl. Well, that wasn't too long ago since I was a little girl.
Yeah, we heard that.
I ain't got nothing to say about that.
Thank you, Rob the Cradle Bill.
Yeah.
Rob the Cradle, you just turned 7, 8, didn't you? Oh, is that right? 6 to 8. I'm sorry. I love you, girl.
Never seen a 60-year-old.
But yeah,
like this.
those were the stores that I hardly never went to a store. You know, I didn't go to a store. I
And
stayed out of stores.
You mentioned, the grocery store closed down, but so a question for all of you, how have businesses and entrepreneurship in Parramore changed over time? How's it changed over time?
It's gone from black to white,
Yeah.
basically. Everything that was black on, even homes that were on Parramore,
Yeah.
they've gone from black ownership to white ownership.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rentals in there.
Mhm.
I don't think I would feel very safe walking down certain ends of Parramore Street, as I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's just not what
When I
happened.
was a kid, you could walk up and down Parramore Street and it'd
Cool.
be a lot of people, a lot of
I
evening,
know.
people talking, people telling jokes,
Yeah.
people playing checkers, people doing all that kind of stuff. But now it's
And they will see
everything
me
is
coming.
everything is very different now. It's,
When they see me coming, they say, y'all move out the way. Here comes Mr. Woodruff's daughter. Y'all move out the way so they can get by. Whoever.
that's when
I
people
walk.
did that. That's when things were very respectable.
Yeah.
Very respectful. A lot of people look at it and say, "Oh no, it wasn't like that."
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was like that.
It was.
It was like that. It's just It's crazy how they took all of those black-owned homes and businesses and knocked those down and did not pay the people what the property was worth to build these expressways, to build a Kia Center, to put up the soccer stadium, to do all of these other different housing areas, these kind of things here. They just didn't pay the people what they were worth. And her grandfather and them, they took their properties.
And they called it urban renewal.
Urban renewal.
That was the big thing. Urban renewal is coming by and making this better.
Yeah.
So my grandparents and those were old, you know, and they took their properties and
Didn't pay them what it was
they
worth.
didn't. They didn't pay them any, and they had to take another mortgage where a house was already paid for.
Yeah.
It was just
Unfair.
it was just
They just didn't do it.
not illegal, unfair.
Yeah.
It was just devastating to
Yeah.
have to do that.
Yeah.
And it not just our family,
Yeah.
all the families down
All
that
the
street.
families on the street.
It was just taken away from them.
And so now we are just kind of waiting to see what's gonna happen with the neighborhoods now and the insurances and how they're going out. Cause you know, over in where we live is a zip code of 32805.
It's the black zip code.
So that's the black zip code. So your insurance
Yeah, you know.
for your cars and
They
your
know exactly where
homes
you live.
are based
Yeah.
off of that
They know.
zip code.
They know.
So if you got another zip code in another place, over here at 32805, you might pay $400 more
A month.
a month. Over here, you're paying $200 or $400 less because of that zip code. You know, so it's still the parameters, the demographics. It still happens, and then some of us are just like, we just gotta live with it. I told my baby, I just moved from Texas last year, and so I've been here going 2 years now in Orlando, and I've been going 52 years. And so we're hoping that Mama stays with us for a long time, and that way Kathy gonna stay in Orlando, because if not, Kathy's moving to Texas.
I'm out. Another, even something as simple as utility.
Yes.
What my mother pays for utility, her bill could be $600 a month. We're right across the lake
Yeah.
in another neighborhood,
Yeah.
200 or something, 300 a month,
Yeah.
which is still too high.
That was real white.
Yeah.
But-
It's still too high.
But look
It's
at the
her
differences
neighborhood.
across
Her
the
neighborhood.
lake, the same
Yeah.
lake.
Yeah.
They live on one end.
And we still have the 32805 zip code, but it's another demographics over there.
They know how to do it.
Yeah.
They practice it.
And you mentioned parameters. I'm gonna have each of you define Parramore on this map. And there's no identifiable locations, meaning we really wanna know from your perspective, Parramore.
You mean Parramore as we were raised?
Yes.
Okay.
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
Okay. Here's Gore.
I call it,
Carter Street, South Street.
that's what's name. Here it is right here.
Well, he wants you to define for you where Parramore was. What do you consider the Parramore neighborhood
Oh,
when you were coming up?
Exactly.
it's right
Okay,
here.
Parramore, Westmoreland, Orange Blossom Trail. Wait. Let's do it so you, I don't know, is this the way better for you? Here's Gore Street. And that's the Gore Street going to Orange Avenue, so it would be back this way, Gore Street, Rio Grande. But where's Callahan for you?
And that Paramore.
Where?
No, is
Here,
that Paramore?
Parramore is going down, going this way.
Here's
Okay.
Paramore, Carter Street,
And Callahan.
Here's Paramount.
Callahan is somewhere.
That's me. Here's my area right here.
I don't see Washington Street.
That Millie. That Grand. What you down here?
Long Street.
Church Street.
That Church Street,
Summit
South.
Street.
yeah, Anderson,
Common,
that long. It's Washington.
Carter Street.
You see what, oh, Washington. Okay, so here's where we are at Callahan, right here.
You want us to mark on this?
Mark it.
I'll just do, this is where we are now, X marks the spot.
We just put our name or something? Or
But,
what?
and then here's your house.
Once you mark it,
It's
just
gonna be
put
on
your name
Carter Street.
on the side.
Where it's called?
Carter Street is right here. This street, this is Carter. That's Carter Street, America's, that's Carter going on at that end, over by where Ann and those are.
Yep.
Here's Carter
That's Carter
Street,
Court.
South Street, Jackson Street, so wherever you say it is. For you, now where is it for you?
That Trinity Street.
Yep. That's it for me.
Move that in.
They say they might see me from Carver Court. They go back interview him again. We need to hear from him.
So for
You
me,
got somebody in here from Carver Court? Hey, look, Kathy.
right, what?
You still living?
Right, what? Who is that? Sapp. That's Ernest Sapp, man, he's still,
You still living around here?
Now what do you want me to move?
you mark what you want, whatever area, you can draw a box, you can draw a circle, wherever Parramore area was for you. Or for you, was it just Parramore Street
Parramore.
or Parramore Avenue?
That's it right there.
Yeah, Parramore, South
Yeah,
Parramore,
but
that's
Mama,
it,
what
that's
is
it
the
for me right there.
Paramore neighborhood to you?
That's what we
That's
used to
what
do
he's
from
asking.
Paramore to,
Is
get on
it
the
just
orange
Paramore
buses
Street?
to
Then
go
just do
get-
just
to
Paramore
go
Street.
Yeah.
If
get
it's
fruit and
all of
stuff
that,
like
then
that.
do all of
And
that.
it was,
To include Jonestown, whatever.
It was
I don't
something
know.
else.
That's in
Yeah,
Parramore.
yeah, it was.
It's just a street?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it
I
gonna
started
start
digging from when I
at,
was
That's in
13.
Piedmont.
Wow.
Yeah.
that's by Grandmama's house,
Yeah.
cause that's Citrus Street.
Buying meat for the
So
family.
which end, there's Lee
Yeah.
Street, which end of Paramore do you wanna start at?
Right here.
Okay, so all
here
of
you
that
go.
one,
This
we
is-
couldn't go over there when you was coming up.
I know.
Okay, so it stopped at Gore Street, right?
Yeah.
So you just wanna do Paramore Street? Is that what you wanna
It's
do?
Parramore, yeah.
Okay, so it's just the street,
Yeah, that was the
and it
old
goes up,
Carver
how
Court.
far? It goes past,
They probably still
Central.
got pictures of those buildings downtown.
it goes to,
Yeah,
And so,
okay, it goes up to Robinson Street.
yeah, yeah.
right.
Okay, so does it stop right there by past Bentley? Does it go all the way to the trail, or it stops before you, I mean, all the way to, 50, or does it stop?
Concord. Newell Concord.
Yeah, but it probably stopped at, right here. Okay, so we're gonna do that. That's what it was for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now for me, where is Paramount? Yeah, this is what it was for me too, because I didn't do all that other stuff.
Westmoreland.
We stopped on Gore Street, because we weren't living past that. Yeah, because the Paramore that you guys look at now, we didn't consider that Paramore. Because the street that wasn't named Parramore. We looked at Parramore as that street where we live. We didn't look at it as Griffin Park, Carver Court, all of this stuff y'all saying is Parramore. That wasn't Parramore to us. It was just Parramore Street.
And we
Not the
couldn't even
side
go
streets,
across.
none of that.
We couldn't go across though. Over on Parramore. I mean on what the one?
What was yours? What was yours for you?
Carver Court.
Oh, okay.
No, write your name.
Oh, okay.
Now that's Cypress Street. That's where the
I
school
told,
was.
I told them they see Carver Court down there, they might want to interview me
That's
again.
where the school was
What
right
were
here.
you doing over there? Ooh, that was, mm. We had a black police officer named Mr. Eames. He used to come through there.
That's Miss Moody. How do you get Church Street right here?
What about it?
Church Street.
What about it?
I just did that in right
Yeah,
there.
you included Parramore when you go across Church Street.
Oh, yeah.
So what you did was you stopped it really at Livingston Street.
Okay.
Because we weren't going past Livingston all down here to 50.
Yeah.
And then you stopped it right here at Gore Street because we weren't going across Gore Street when you were growing up. Right?
Yeah.
Did I get it right?
Right.
All right, so
On
we're
one
done.
side.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much. So sticking with the theme of the community, what challenges did the community face in the past and how were they overcome?
Say what?
What challenges did the community face in the past and how were they overcome?
How do you overcome now?
What challenges did the Parramore community face?
Yeah.
And then how did we overcome it?
I know one thing, we couldn't walk across the street. One part of the street was that, so
Yeah, we weren't going,
you couldn't go across.
what was that, south of Gore Street.
Yeah,
And we weren't going all the way to 50.
yeah.
It really stopped shortly past Robinson Street, where there's Livingston. We really didn't go past that. And that has changed now,
Yeah,
you know, overcoming life. That has just changed. And Parramore community now is larger than what we saw it then. Because Parramore for us
yeah,
was just the name of the street.
Yeah.
That was what Parramore was. It wasn't all this inclusive, it's all this other stuff. No. Every street had its own name. We didn't, all that other stuff wasn't. That just wasn't how people viewed it back then. Now it's more encompassing.
Parramore was the black street. It was just black only, black everything. That's how Parramore was.
yeah, everything,
And
all the
when you look
businesses
at-
on Paramount.
When you look at that, it was black stores, black churches, black house, black, it was like black movie theater, everything. There was a movie theater there
Yeah,
where the
College
Kia Center
Theater.
is. The movie theater was there and,
Then we had the Lincoln Theater.
yeah, it was, everything just black on Parramore. You know, you didn't see anything white on Parramore. The only thing you saw white on Parramore was a police officer. That was the only thing you saw white on
Police
Parramore.
officer.
Yeah,
You know, and
and they couldn't put the black ones in jail.
orange buses, they had a place there called Dixie Doula.
Yeah,
And Dixie Doula was the place where you get your food. It was a restaurant place where you get your food. And that's where the buses picked up all the people for the orange groves. Right there. And that was on the corner of Carter and Parramore, somewhere up there.
yeah, yeah.
Carter and Parramore.
Right across from,
And then Parramore had a lot of dilapidated houses. I mean, like, there were old houses. I mean, they didn't do maintenance on the houses and they were charging people outrageous prices for those houses. And that's when my mother died in one of those houses. She was cooking and the house caught on fire, the stove blazed. I remember coming and seeing that house when I was in the military, and I told her, well, I gotta move you out of here. I didn't know she was staying in a place like that. Wiring comes out of the walls and that kind of thing there, and she was living in there. She was trying to cook food for my sister and her friends, and the stove caught on fire, and the guy who's the maintenance guy had locked up, he had bolted the back door down, and she couldn't get out of the back door because it was nailed up. Because one morning she woke up in there and a guy was in there sleeping on the couch. He had came in her place sleeping on the couch. And so this Lisa person who was leasing the place, after talking to them, they were supposed to get the place done, but it never got done. And Parramore had a lot of homes, places, living places on Parramore where poor people just had to stay in those places, and they wouldn't fix them. They would not fix them. Slumlord, and people were just dying on Parramore. Now when you look at Parramore and what has happened and what is happening, the people who are over the districts look like to me that they're investing a lot in Parramore to make it better for the people. There's a lot of students from Jones High School live on Parramore now. In the high-rise buildings, I call them high-rise buildings. In the high-rise buildings, there's a park there now. There's a lot going on Parramore now that wasn't there. And it looks like they're going to go through and tear some more houses down and build something else there. Because they're close to that Kia Center. And the Kia Center is here, and then the soccer stadium is down here. And they have I believe that the city has a plan to have Parramore, the whole entire Parramore, torn down and rebuild back up.
Right.
I believe there's a plan.
They showed that.
There's a plan for that. And so, looking at your question was how Parramore affected us or something like that?
No, what challenges did the community face in the past?
What challenges
And how
did
were
the
they
community
overcome?
face
Yeah.
with the old Parramore?
Yeah.
Drugs, guns, alcohol, bars on every corner, rapes, little girls being raped,
Oh, really?
people beating people up, taking their monies.
So this was
All of this kind of stuff happening on Parramore.
Was this in the 90s?
Huh?
90s?
This was in the time that I grew up in the 60s. It was in the 70s. It was in the 80s. It was in the 90s. You know, it was a lot going on. And people don't like to talk about that part. They don't like to talk about that. But it was there, and I was in it. And I'm telling you, drugs everywhere. You know, why wasn't our neighborhoods cleaned up of those drugs? Why wasn't our neighborhood taken care of like that? Why didn't the people take care of our children, our kids in Parramore, in Gore, and those places like that? Why was only certain kids taken care of? Because drugs were so prevalent there. I was smoking reefer at 12. I was smoking hash at 13. How did I get that drug? How did that drug get to me? That drug got to me because certain people was trying to destroy what was being built up there. There were hundreds of children, I wouldn't say hundreds, but there were lots of children in Parramore area with no fathers.
Yeah.
Lots of us.
Right.
If you went to Carver Court, off of Parramore and Dunbar Court, and go to every house and ask about the father of those children, you would not find the father. You would find the mother, but not the father. I wasn't the only child hungry in that place. And so when you ask that question, drugs, alcohol, guns, all those kind of things there, that destroyed, that right there took out a group of teenagers, young people from that place, that area up there, you know. And so the way it looks now, it's very nice. It's very nice. But when I was there, it wasn't so nice like that. And yes, we had fun, but through all the fun, there were gangs. People don't talk about that. There were 2 or 3 gangs. There were drugs. There were drug dealers. There were pimps.
Yeah.
There were young girls who were being taken advantage of. Right on Parramore, right on Gore, right in the projects. All of that stuff was going on around us. But no one was talking about that. No one was talking about how we were treated in that place. Like we were no good, and people were talking about us. They were talking about it. They would elevate, they would talk about us, and they would put us down like we were trash, like we weren't anything. You know, and there were certain places that we couldn't go. If they found out we was from Carver Court, Parramore, and we was in certain areas of the city in Black Township, they didn't want us there. They just didn't want us there, you know. And so that was, it was very bad. It was very bad.
And what I'll say to that is, I think that strategically, things were put in the neighborhood to destroy.
Yeah.
And they identified certain spots in the neighborhood to go to, low income, you know.
That's right.
People who are not necessarily gonna speak out. But they could find these drugs as a new way of life, of making money, and didn't necessarily think about all the damage it was gonna cause. What? They're trying to feed their family. They're trying to do what the other sector is doing, but it's just a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And now you go in and you unfortunately terminate that group of people. So now that group is gone, but you have another group that's in there, and some of them are descendants of that group that's doing well. The other part to that, I think, is that the forefathers at the time of Orlando, not recalling names, they decided that from the football stadium, we called it the Tangerine Bowl, which is the Citrus Bowl or whatever it's called now,
Yeah.
that back down to the soccer stadium, back down to the Kia Center was going to be a money maker.
Yeah.
So that they were going to take that walk down Church Street, build the city to get this income that it needed to do well. So in order to do that, you have got to change the Callahan community. Now it's not, it's I'm sorry, the Parramore community, it has to change now. It can't just be a street. It has to be an entire community, because we got to clean all of this up so that these people that don't look like the residents of Parramore that need to walk through there with their families are now safe. So that's my interpretation of what has happened. And if you look at it, you'll see it on any given day that an event is going on. Like a soccer game, they're walking from this area, going from downtown Orlando, from Orange Avenue, they're walking down the place to go to the soccer game. Or they're walking over to go to the Magic game. Or they're walking past the soccer game to go to that, what you call it, when the trucks are out there, when they're dumping that dirt on. It's safe. Why? Because you cleaned up the Parramore community. So these other people can come in and enjoy the entertainment. It was strategically done. That's
Now,
my opinion.
when I was 12, I will never forget this. We was playing basketball on the basketball court, and this white guy pulls up in this big car, and he gets out of the car, and he opens up the trunk, right? He opens up the trunk, and it's nothing but guns in the trunk of his car. Nothing but guns. And he's offering those guns. For a certain amount of money, he's offering these guns. You understand what I'm saying? So, people outside of that place was bringing stuff inside that place to destroy it. And the reason they were bringing stuff inside that place because girls were having babies. Like, this one girl, she would probably have 4 babies. Another girl had 5 babies. Another girl had 6 babies. Those babies were growing up. And when babies are growing up, they're black babies. And so they're growing up, and what they're doing, they're creating a society. So what we got to do is we got to get rid of this. So how are we going to get rid of this? We're going to put drugs, guns, and whatever it takes in this area to get rid of them. Where does crack cocaine come from? Where does guns come from? Well, if we didn't have money, I didn't have money, so how did I get a hold of drugs? How did my friends get a hold of drugs? They were brought in there and given to us.
Yeah.
Why they were given to us? Why was this put in our community? Why was a bar put on every corner in our community?
Or what?
A bar,
Bar.
a liquor bar.
Yeah.
Why was that done? It was done to demoralize or get rid of a group of people.
Yeah.
That's why it was done. Why were they trying to close Jones High School? Because Jones High School were putting out
So, good people.
good people. So how are we gonna do this? We gotta close it down.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna close it
My
down.
husband said no.
You know.
They said
And so
no.
when you look at that, and you look at that question that you asked, those are the kind of things that tore that community down. Like, what is all four of my brothers doing in the grave, and my sister? Why are they in the grave so young? And then, before them, who other families in the grave out there? Why did they go out there? They were having 2 or 3 funerals, 4 or 5 funerals a week, 6, 7 funerals a week, back in those days. Yeah.
How influential was the church for the community, the Mountain Zion Church?
How was it?
I think all of the churches, all of the black churches were on the same page, were saying the same thing. You gotta get an education. You can't be in the streets. You gotta do what you need to do. Don't be in there after a certain time because you're gonna get killed. And then they were preaching the gospel.
Yeah.
Now, were all churches preaching the gospel the same way?
No.
No, because everybody has different styles. This church does it this way, this church does it that way. But I think for the most part, they were on the same page.
Yeah, they wanted you to be good.
I didn't go to church. I didn't believe in church. I did not go and step foot in church because I thought church had a lot of people in it who said that they were people that love God and love this and love that, but they showed me something different, and so I didn't go.
Which makes sense.
I wasn't going because you got all these people who go to church and got all these people that has this and that, but yet you don't like me because of where I'm from. You know, so I didn't go. And my grandfather didn't go, so I didn't go. You know, he sent us out there to get on the bus. I didn't get on the bus. I stayed on the corner till the bus took my little brothers and brought them back.
To church.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't go. And then when I was 25, that's when I started going to church, when I was 25 years old. You know, so what effect the church had on the community was what Kathy and her family and families like that looked at church as having an effect on the community, because the only effect that was having on my community was drugs.
And you got it both ways.
You know,
She's getting
yeah, so.
We're wrapping up, we're
Okay.
2 hours in.
Oh, wow.
It's because it's 3 people. So I'm skipping questions. What challenges does Parramore face in the present day, today?
What challenges does Parramore face today?
Oh. I don't think they feel.
I think they're trying to clean it up.
Yeah.
And they're cleaning it up for profit. I think it's disingenuous with what they're doing to clean it up, but it needs to be, you know, but when you do that, you gotta make sure that you keep the monies and things there, and you teach people what to do, how to make good choices and move on. You just can't dump money and expect it to be okay, because you're gonna be back to everything that you never really left with. It's just not as prevalent, because the same people don't live there and don't know what's going on.
That's right.
So you can't be disingenuous. If you're building it up just to get money, just to make it a showplace for a certain group of people, that's what you're gonna get. That's all I have to say.
Question for all 3 of you. What is Parramore's legacy?
What's his legacy?
Well, I think the legacy of Parramore has been that there are families and there are people that came out of Parramore that have been good, productive citizens in Parramore. And in the city of Orlando, I just won't limit it to Parramore, in the city of Orlando,
Yeah.
as any place has been. Jones High School is the high school of Jones High School. It has a rich legacy. You know, so the legacy is, for me, is be the best you can be and move forward in life.
The legacy for me is, this is, the good out of Parramore was older men explaining to me the difficulties of life and the challenges of life that I listened to. You know, and so when you say legacy, I got that. Anything else, I didn't get that. But that was a legacy for me. I remember this one particular bus driver, they called him Black Knight. He told me when I was a kid, I was 14 years old, and I was picking fruit for him. He told me if I ever wanted to be anything or do anything, get out of here. That's what he said to me.
You get out.
Get out of here. Yeah. And when I graduated from high school, the Lord blessed me a year later to get out. And I've been successful. Some people who stayed and were successful, they already had foundations. They had foundations laid for them by someone. There was a foundation laid for them. When you look at the success rate of people in Orlando and where they're from, those foundations were set. When you look at the success rate of people who are successful and that foundation wasn't laid, then there's a different ratio. But I'm just thankful that, and I'm not looking at anybody else, but I'm thankful I was one of those in that low percent of people who were able to leave and do something very productive in other states and other countries. And those who stayed here and done something, it's very admirable. I'm very, yeah, I give them props. Yeah.
Oh, and what about you, Miss Gary? What is Parramore's legacy for you?
Oh, well, I've seen it come and go. I've seen it in the downside, and now it's in the upside. Yeah. That's what, right now I'm tired and hungry. I'm ready to go.
Well,
When she gets tired and hungry,
well,
better get out the
It's a
way.
wrap.
Totally understandable. Miss Gary, thank you. Mrs. and Mr. Sapp, I really appreciate taking, a big chunk of your day to talk to me and share your life story. It's really important. I really
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Yes, you are welcome.
I've been trying to find this picture I had of my mother and a friend of hers in the projects who was standing up, and
Oh, you can't wrap it.
yeah, I have a picture here somewhere, I can't find it, but that's what I was trying to show you, you have a big fit, yeah.
And if we can find a picture of Woodruff Cleaners with my granddaddy standing in front, I'll email it to you guys.